Alright, welcome back to Thanksgiving Thursdays. Today is the second in a series of videos that I'm doing in a collaboration with several other content creators. The full list will be in the description box down below, but we are doing Thanksgiving related videos every Thursday in November, so make sure you go down and check out everyone else's videos. Everybody is doing their own format, so make sure you check those out. Hey friends, welcome back to Harvest Moon Farm. My name is Mickey. As I said, this is the next edition of Thanksgiving Thursday. So today I've got a couple things that I'm doing. I've got some pork fat from the half a hog that we bought a month or so ago, and I'm going to render it down into lard, I'm going to render it down into lard, and then I am going to use that lard to make my pie crust in preparation for our pies on Thanksgiving. So I've never done this before, although it seems pretty easy, and I've had this kind of half thawing on my counter for, I don't know, half an hour or so. I just wanted to get it down where I could cut this fat into smaller pieces. Uh-oh, it might still be frozen too much. So, got my hunk of fat here, and I'm just going to cut it in kind of 1-inch pieces, and I'm going to put it in my crock pot. I may have to use 2, I'm not sure, with this much fat. I'm going to try a bigger knife and see if that helps cut off some hunks. It's not quite thawed enough to cut like I thought it would be. That's okay, we are going to make this work. Maybe. So if you guys have been following along with my channel, you know that we always host Thanksgiving here at our house. Does anybody else host Thanksgiving, or do you go someplace? Do you go out? When we first started hosting Thanksgiving, we always had a huge crowd. And in the past few years, we haven't had quite as many, but this year, we're gonna have a bigger bunch. All of my sisters are going to be able to come this year. The kids, the grandkids, my dad. So it's going to be kind of exciting to have a bigger bunch of people in this celebration. Okay, so I'm not sure why I was fighting myself on that smaller cutting board. I have this great big one, so let's try this again. And so, Thanksgiving, are you guys a traditional Thanksgiving dinner? Turkey, ham, mashed potatoes, or do you guys eat something different? We always do traditional turkey. Growing up, we didn't always have ham. Sometimes we did, but when Joe and I got together, his family really likes ham, and so we started adding ham, and everybody likes it. So I'm not the biggest ham person, so it didn't really matter to me. I like it, but it's not, I prefer the turkey. And then my husband's family, my mother-in-law always makes homemade mac and cheese. And so I started doing that because the kids all really enjoy it. so I've been putting this in this bowl in the microwave to kind of thaw it enough to pull some hunks off, and it seems to be working. I'm also finishing up, my daughter-in-law and I did a big cooking day yesterday, which that video actually will come out before this one, but we did a big cooking day. We made a bunch of soups and we started some sourdough bread, but it was a long day and we didn't get everything done. So I've got soup in the canner and the bread is waiting to go in the oven, but we've got several loaves of sourdough bread waiting to go in. So I finally got everything cut up. I've got part of it in this crock pot over here cooking down, and I've got another partial crock pot. I might be able to combine them as they start melting down, but I'm gonna get this one over here, and we're just gonna turn these up on high, and we're just gonna check them every half hour or so until it gets really melted down, and then we'll move on from there. Depending on how much liquid we actually end up with, I'm gonna put some in jars, and then I might pour some into a bread pan to mold it so that I can store it in the freezer. I'll cut it in hunks and then we can store it in the freezer because I won't use all of it at once, obviously. So we'll check this again in a half hour or so and see how it's looking. All right, so I think this lard or this pig fat has cooked down enough that we can go ahead and strain it. Hopefully I can do this without burning myself. Maybe. Yeah, right. So I'm going to go ahead and try and pull some of the crackling pieces out first so that I don't have so much to accidentally splash on myself. I don't know if maybe these should cook longer. I don't know. This is the first time, like I said, so. Smells delicious, these little cracklings. Alrighty, let's see now if I can. That's not what I wanted to do. Anna, do you think you can help me? Get some help from the young one. I don't feel like it. None of us feel young, but you actually are, so.
Yeah, I don't feel like it though.
Okay, so if you can stand on that side and just kind of hold this. I just want to make sure this doesn't fall in. So just kind of, so like see how this is like this.
Don't burn me.
I'll try really hard not to. I won't burn you. Don't burn.
What is this? Oh.
I'm gonna pour really slow so I don't. Did I get you? I'm sorry.
I don't think so.
Okay, just scared you.
Well, it was looking like it was coming that way.
Oop. If I need to, I can dip the rest of this out so I don't splash you. I'll do that, I'm afraid. Whoa. Like that. Are you okay? Did I get you?
No, no.
Okay.
Oh, I'm dying. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, I'm dying.
Teenagers are so dramatic. Oh my goodness. Teenagers and toddlers, they're exactly the same. Sort of.
I'm almost not a teenager.
What?
I'm almost not a teenager.
Yeah, she's almost not a teenager. 4 more months? 3 more months?
Something like that.
February. End of February. She was born in a leap year, and we thought she was going to be a leap day baby, but she was not.
Almost.
Very close.
Yeah,
but
so far. That would have been cool.
no, it wouldn't have.
Why not?
Because. All right.
I'd be like 6 right now if that was.
You'd still be in grade school.
Oh. Okay.
So what we're doing here is we're just going to let all of this strain through this isn't really cheesecloth, but this cloth here, so that we are left with just a nice clear fat. Once it's completely strained, then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pour some into some jars for just putting in the refrigerator, because we're going to use some of this tomorrow, and I'm going to make our pie crust for Thanksgiving. I'm so super anxious to see how this does, like how this tastes. If I've ever had pie crust made with lard before, I didn't know it. So this will be probably an experiment for me. Let's see. So I'm going to go find some wide mouth jars because I want to make sure that it's easy to scoop into. So I want to try and get as much out of here as I can. Ouch, it's hot though. I'm gonna run these jars under hot water and warm them up. They are clean, but I wanted to make sure that I don't break them by using the hot oil or by pouring the hot fat into these jars. I'm also going to get a bread pan that I'm going to use for the rest of it. Oh, look how beautiful that looks. All right, so these 3 jars I'm going to put lids on, and I'm going to put them in my refrigerator to be able to use it first. Ow. And then I'm going to divide the rest, or I'm just going to see how many pans this will fill up. And then I'm going to stick these in the freezer for an hour or so until they're pretty much solid. And then I'm going to take them out and cut them into chunks and then freeze them wrapped individually. Let me start over. I'm going to wrap them in paper and then put them in freezer bags. That way I can just pull out a hunk when I need it and not have to worry about using the entire chunk. Oh, these pans are getting hot though. Let's see how much I've got left here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put lids and bring I'm going to go ahead and put lids and rings on these 3 jars. I'm going to stick them in the refrigerator. And oh my gosh, look at that. So I'm going to put these in the refrigerator. Somewhere. And in a little while, those will be beautiful, solid, white jars of lard. Got to get a cookie sheet for this. Ow, those got hot really fast. Oh, I don't want to do that. Let's see. So these pans are about 2/3 to 3/4 full because I didn't want to splash it everywhere when I was moving them. Okay. So I'm going to take, I'm going to take this tray downstairs and stick it in my freezer. We'll leave it an hour or so, then I'll bring it back up. All right, so my lard, I've got my fat all rendered down into lard. Shockingly, I did not let that freeze just for an hour. It's been a couple of days, things come up, you guys know how it is. But today we are going to make some pie crust that I'm going to keep in the freezer for baking my pies on Thanksgiving. So this recipe that I have makes 1 single crust. So just like a, you know, for a pumpkin pie or a lemon meringue or something like that, just the 1 crust. So I need, let's see, what did I decide? I need 3 single crusts, 2 double crusts, so that's 7, and then I'm gonna make some lemon tarts. My sisters really enjoy those. I really enjoy those. So I'm gonna do 9 times this recipe. I don't know that I can do it all in this one bowl, but we're gonna see what we can do at one time. So I think I'm just gonna do 2 pie crusts at any one time until we get to the end, and then I may do the last of them in 3. So we need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. No, sorry, I need 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I just told you I was gonna make 2 at a time and then I forgot to double my recipe. So 3 cups of flour. A couple pinches of salt. And then we need 1 cup of lard. So here is the lard that we rendered a couple of days ago, and it is, oh my gosh, if I can get the lid out, it is a beautiful, pure white. That's awesome. I expected it to smell funny, but it doesn't. What did I just say? So I need a cup of lard. I'm going to dig this out with a spoon. I think this might be the easiest. And actually, I'm going to, the recipe I found the other day was a part lard, part butter, and that's what I wanted to do. So I am going to kind of mix these recipes. So I've got my 3 cups of butter, my salt, or sorry, my 3 cups of flour and my salt. And so I'm gonna do half lard, half butter. So there is, here's my half cup of lard, and then I'll do a half cup of butter as well. So my butter has been refrigerated but not frozen. This is butter that I had taken out of the freezer and I've just had it in the refrigerator. So it's cold but not frozen solid. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog out there barking his head off. I don't know what he's barking at. So we're going to use our pastry cutter and we're going to cut in the butter and the lard into our flour. And I'll go ahead and put both of these recipes in the description box, and then I'll just put in the notes also what I actually did so you guys can see how I've modified these recipes based on what I want. So we want to do this until it is kind of a sandy, coarse crumb mixture. Okay, it says when we push this together, it should hold its shape, oops, without falling apart. Maybe I need to mix it a little more. I actually might get out my food processor when I move to do the rest of these recipes so that I get a better crumb with this, or a better, so that it's broken down better. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say here. So that it gets mixed better and gets the texture that we need. All right, there we go. I've tried pie crust recipes before that use vinegar and egg, and this other one that I've got here does. I've never seen it like this, so we're gonna crack an egg in this measuring cup. We're gonna add our vinegar, which is, whoops, a tablespoon. And then we're gonna increase our water to make 2/3 of a cup. And since I got a 1 cup measure, I'm gonna do both of these. I'm gonna do these separately. So I actually need double this amount, but I didn't get a big enough container. So I added a tablespoon of vinegar to my egg, and I want to add enough cold water to make 2/3 of a cup. So that is going to be about another 1/3 of a cup. And we're going to beat this all together. Whoa, we're going to beat this all together really well. I guess I could have probably beaten my egg first before I added anything to it. So we're just going to pour a little bit on here. I've never seen a pie crust recipe put together this way, so we're going to see how this goes. And actually that's only half of my water, or half of my liquid, so I need to do the other egg. Oh my gosh, there we go. Tablespoon of vinegar and then 1/3 of a cup of water. And now that I'm on the second half, I'm only going to pour as much as I need to get all of this dough moistened. Actually, I think I just did something silly. I did. I just added too much liquid, but I think it's fine because it's not super sticky. All right. I'm gonna put some flour on here. My gosh, my little space is filling up fast. And I'm gonna dump this out. And I'm gonna kind of just work this together just enough to keep it from totally falling apart. I don't want to use my, oh darn it, shoot. I also found a recipe that adds vanilla if you're going to be making a sweet pie, which all of these are going to be sweet. So I'm going to add maybe a teaspoon, 3/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla, because I thought that sounded like it would be really good. So now what I'm going to do, with this is I'm going to take about half of it. Let's see, so about half. So you really want to try to not touch this with your hands as much as possible, so that you're not melting the butter or melting the lard. You want to keep it, you really want everything to stay as cold as possible. So I'm going to make this into a disc with my plastic and then wrap it up. And I'm going to stick this in the fridge while I'm working. When I'm done with all of them, I'm going to put them in a bag and put them in my freezer until it's time to get them out to thaw for Thanksgiving. And I know I said I might get if I could think, my food processor out, but I don't think I'm going to. But I can see that I can make more in this bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and quadruple this original recipe or double the one with the egg and flour, either way. So I'm going to put 6 cups of flour. To our flour, we're going to add 1 cup of butter. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this into hunks like I did before, just so that it's a little easier to work with. Alright, so there's our 1 cup of butter. I'm going to go ahead and put this piece back in the fridge until I get ready to use it. And then I need a cup of my lard. And there is a cup. So just like before, I'm going to use my pastry cutter to cut this all in until we have some nicely coarse crumb mixture in our bowl. Alrighty, let me see here. Kind of break some of this up with my fingers. Alright, so I've got this. So I'm going to go ahead and add my vanilla to the egg and water and vinegar mixture. And I'm going to go ahead and add this first bunch and stir it in, and then I'll go ahead and make my second batch and we'll stir in however much we need of that. Vanilla and vinegar. This batch that I made here will be 4 crusts. So I'm going to try and cut this in half and cut this in half. I know about how big the bunches were in the first batch, so I can kind of eyeball that. Oops, come on, stay in the plastic. And the reason you want your butter to stay cold and have some kind of big pieces is because as it bakes, that's going to create those pockets of dough that give it that light, flaky texture that you really want from your pie dough. Oh, goodness, dropped some out the side there. I need just a little bit more cold water. I'll go ahead and take the second quarter and use my plastic to make it into a nice ball. Oops. This part in the bottom needs a little more liquids. So I'm going to go ahead and pour a little liquid in there, just a little bit more cold water, just enough to kind of make sure that I can get it all to form into a cohesive ball. And then I'm going to put it in here, just like the others. Alright, that's all there is to it. So I'm going to go ahead and make my final 3 pie crusts, and I'll stick those in the fridge with the others. Then I'm going to put those all, well, I guess I'll take all the rest of them, put them in the freezer, and then they'll be ready for me when I get ready to make my pies for Thanksgiving. So make sure that you check out everybody else's channel that's down in the description box. They're all doing different things related to Thanksgiving. So they are all great channels to watch and subscribe to if you're not already. And I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll be back again next Thursday with another Thanksgiving video. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Bye.